With Olympic slots being handed out, the weekend at Sender 1 LAX in Los Angeles was always going to be dramatic and emotional, and so it proved. The women had their final first, and in the speed, Chile's Alejandra Contreras took third. In second was Valentina Aguado of Argentina, who was a real contender for the overall win, doubly so after such a good start to the day. Andrea Rocha of Ecuador took first in her favoured discipline to set herself up for a tilt at the win. Up next for the climbers was 3 boulders, and Rebecca Frangos of Canada managed to top 2 of them to take 4th. Matching her 3rd in speed with 3rd in boulder was Alejandra Contreras, who found 2 tops and all 3 zones. Emma Hunt of the United States had been favourite in the speed, but a series of mistakes saw her finish 7th there. On the boulders, she made amends, finishing 2nd with 2 tops and 3 zones, ahead of Alejandra by just 1 attempt. Out in a league of her own on the boulders, as most observers expected her to be, was Alana Yip, who topped all 3 boulders to take first place on them after a decent, if unspectacular, 5th in speed. And so it was on to lead, where Olympic dreams would be made and destroyed. The American women weren't able to claim that Olympic spot because their country's quota had already been filled by Brooke Rabatu and Kyra Condi, but there was still the glory of becoming Pan American combined champion available, and Nora Chi did her best to claim that glory by taking 2nd in lead. In the qualifying round, Lauren Baer had clearly been the best lead climber, and she demonstrated her superiority again in the final by finding the only top. She was the last climber out in the final, and whilst that top wasn't enough for her to win the overall competition, it did provide the audience with a Hollywood finish that seemed appropriate in Los Angeles. In the battle for the overall win, Alejandra Contreras kept up her solid work by taking 4th in lead, enough for a well-earned 2nd overall. First overall was Alana Yip, who came close to qualifying for the Olympics at the IFSC World Championships in August 2019, and then came even closer in the Olympic selection event in November. In Los Angeles, she finally got over the line by taking third in lead, enough for her to top the overall rankings. Alana's Olympic dream began 5 years ago, and it has been quite the ride for her and her supporters. So there was understandably a lot of emotion when she realised that she had finally succeeded in her mission.
So excited, so happy. I worked really hard to get here, and for a couple days it looked not great. I wasn't able to pull it together mentally and physically in the pre-qualifier and the qualifier rounds, and I found the fire today.